Hello guys, how are you all? So welcome to my channel Cracking IELTS 9.0. So today I am back with a new passage. As you can see, the passage says how stress affects our judgment, right? So here we have different types of questions here. So the first set of questions, as you can see on your right hand side, these are multiple choice questions, okay? And if we move to the next section, there are matching the statement type of questions. And then in the end, we have yes, no, not given. Okay. So we have three different types of questions in this. So let's not waste any time and let's dive into the passage. And I request all of you to follow the whole video very closely because I'll be giving a lot of tips and tricks on how to crack these type of questions. Okay. So especially for reading module, we need to follow some strategies to crack this. Lot of students they feel reading module is a bit difficult to crack, right? So if you can listen to the tips and tricks that I give, then it will be very easy for you guys to crack this test. Okay. So yes, now, the first set of question is multiple choice questions. Now, what is my strategy for this? Okay, so listen to the strategy. So first thing is I'll read the question. Okay, so question I'll read it and then I'll go to the passage. I'll read that passage and then I'll come to the options. Okay, don't read the options before because you might get confused here. Okay, so we don't want to get confused, right? So I'll read the 27th question, then I'll go to the passage and then I'll come to the options. So in this way, it will be easy for us to find the right option. Okay. This will give that freedom to find the right option. Okay. Right. So in the first paragraph, the writer introduces the topic of the text by. Okay. So he's talking about the first paragraph, right? We'll go to the first paragraph and let's read that. Okay. Now, some of the most important decisions of our lives occur while we are feeling stressed and anxious. From medical decisions to financial and professional ones, we are all sometimes required to weigh up information under stressful conditions. But do we become better or worse at processing and using information under such circumstances? Question mark. Okay. So, yes. Now, what is the writer trying to say in this paragraph? He's talking about stress and anxiety, right? So, he also says that most of the decisions are affected by this stress, right? And sometimes we have to weigh up the information under stressful conditions. Now, are we becoming better or worse in these conditions? That is the question. Next, let us read the options now, okay? Defining some uncommonly used terms. Okay. Did he define any commonly used terms? He did not define what is stress, what is anxiety. There is no definition here, right? So I think A cannot be the option. Okay. So we'll go in elimination method. Okay. This will be easy for us to get the right answer, right? And questioning a widely held assumption. Questioning. Okay, there is some question mark here. Okay. But what is he questioning? Widely held assumption. Okay. Did he talk about any assumptions in this paragraph, guys? Any assumptions? No, he did not talk about any kind of assumptions here. So I think B also cannot be the answer. Then mentioning a challenge faced by everyone. Okay. Okay, he's talking about a challenge. What is the challenge? Stress and anxiety faced by everyone means we are all sometimes, see, we are all sometimes required to weigh up information under stressful conditions. We are all means he's talking about everybody, right? So challenges faced by everyone. Yes, this looks close. Okay, see, option C looks close to me. Okay, but let us read the option D as well. Okay, specifying a situation which makes us most anxious. Okay, see, he talked about anxiety here, but he did not talk about any specific situation that makes us most anxious. Okay, this is the most anxious situation in our life. He did not talk anything like that, right? So D also cannot be the answer. So C is the closest one. I think C should be the right answer. Okay, right. Let us move to the next question. What point does the writer make about firefighters in the second paragraph? Okay, so we'll read the second paragraph and then we'll come to the options. Okay, right. So, yeah, let us not waste any time. Now, my colleague and I, both neuroscientists, wanted to investigate how the mind operates under stress. So, we visited some local fire stations. Firefighters' workdays vary quite a bit. Some are pretty relaxed. They'll spend their time washing the truck, cleaning equipment, cooking meals, and reading. Okay. Other days can be hectic with numerous life-threatening incidents to attend. They'll enter burning homes to rescue trapped residents and assist with medical emergencies. These ups and downs presented the perfect setting for an experiment on how people's ability to use information changes when they feel under pressure. Okay. Right. So in this, he spoke a lot of things about firefighters, right? Now, yeah, let us move to the options now. The regular changes of stress levels in their working lives make them ideal study subjects. Okay. Now, see, firefighters have, he mentioned about two things here. One is when they are relaxed, okay? So, when they are relaxed, they wash their truck, they cook meals, they read. This is one thing, okay? Other days can be very hectic, okay? Because they have to save some lives, okay? They have to enter the burning homes to rescue the residents, okay? They have to give some medical emergencies to people, okay? So, what does he say in the last sentence? You read that. These ups and downs presented the perfect setting for an experiment. That's what he says. On how people's ability to use information changes when they feel under pressure. Okay. Right. So he says their life is a perfect setting for an experiment. That's what he says. Now look at the first one. The regular changes of stress levels in their working lives make them ideal study subjects. I think yes. Ideal study subjects means perfect setting for an experiment. Yes. And regular changes of stress levels means ups and downs. Okay. So the last sentence and the first one, they two are paraphrased. I think A is the right answer. I don't have any doubt about it. But still, for you guys, I'll read the other options as well. Okay. The strategies they use to handle stress are of particular interest to researchers. Now, did he talk about any strategies in the paragraph? How they handle stress? No, there is nothing mentioned here. No strategies. So B cannot be the answer. Next, the stressful nature of their job is typical of many public service professions. Did he talk about other public service professions here? No. So C cannot be the answer. Then, their personalities make them especially well suited to working under stress. Now, he did not talk about their personalities here. That is different. He spoke about their working life as a firefighter. So, yeah, D cannot be the answer. So, A should be the right answer, guys. Okay. Okay, good. So, let us move to the next one. What is the writer doing in the fourth paragraph? Now, third, fourth, this is the paragraph he's talking about. Okay, let us read this one. But for you guys, I'll start from the third paragraph. Okay, this only one sentence. We found that perceived threat acted as a trigger for a stress reaction that made the task of processing information easier for the firefighters, but only as long as it conveyed bad news. Okay. Now, this is how we arrive at these results. Okay. Now, we asked the firefighters to estimate their likelihood of experiencing 40 different adverse events in their life, such as being involved in an accident or becoming a victim of a card fraud. We then gave them either good news or bad news. Good news means that their likelihood of experiencing these events was lower than they had thought. Bad news means that it was higher, means the likelihood of this happening is higher, and asked them to provide new estimates. Okay, right. So in this paragraph, he spoke about uh, providing a good news and bad news to them and how they react to that. Okay, right. Let us read the options now. Explaining their findings, mhm, justifying their approach, setting out their objectives, or describing their methodology. Okay. Now, explaining their findings, what did they find? See here they did not find explain their findings, means results. They only spoke that we asked the firefighters to estimate their likelihood of experiencing this type of events, like being in an accident or victim of a card fraud, these things. But they did not explain the findings. Why did they do that? No? Right? So, A cannot be the option. Then, justifying their approach. Okay, they are not explaining why are they following only this approach, why not the other approach. No, they are not justifying any approach here, so B cannot be the option. And C, setting out their objectives. Objectives means goals. Okay, but here they did not specify any goal here, right? Like this is our end goal, they did not mention anything like that. So setting out their objectives is also not the right option. And then describing their methodology, yes, this is the right one, because here they are describing everything, right? Like we asked the firefighters to estimate this type of events. Okay, like being, for example, they involved in an accident or they become a victim of the card fraud. Then we then gave them either a good news or a bad news, and we asked them to provide the new estimates. So this is their method of doing the experiments, and that they are describing that. Yes, so I think D should be the right answer. Okay, good. So let us move further, guys. In the seventh paragraph, the writer describes a mechanism in brain. Okay, now we'll go to the seventh. This is 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is our seventh paragraph. Okay. Okay, right. So, when we experience stressful events, a psychological change is triggered that causes us to take in warnings and focus on what might go wrong. Okay. Brain imaging reveals that this switch is related to a sudden boost in a neuro signal important for learning, specifically in response to unexpected warning signs such as faces expressing fear. Okay. Hmm. So yeah, he spoke about this thing, a switch in the brain, okay, which will give a sudden boost for the neural signal for learning, okay, especially specifically to unexpected warning signs, right? Now let us read the options again. So enables people to respond more quickly to stressful situations, okay. Uh, Results in increased ability to control our levels of anxiety, then produces heightened sensitivity to indications of external threats. Okay, is activated when there is a need to communicate a sense of danger. Okay, right, right. So, okay, we will crack one by one. Enables people to respond more quickly to stressful situations. Okay. Did he see in the paragraph? Did he mention that they are responding more quickly, especially to a stressful situations here? In this paragraph, I did not read anything like that. See, responding more quickly. So A cannot be the option. Okay. Next, results in increased ability to control our levels of anxiety. Okay. Did he talk that we can control our anxiety? No, right? He did not talk like that. So B also cannot be the option. Next one, produces heightened sensitivity to indications of external threats. Okay. Heightened sensitivity. What does that mean? A psychological change is triggered that causes us to take in warnings and focus on what might go wrong. Then brain imaging reveals that this switch is related to a sudden boost. Okay, sudden boost in the neural signal important for learning. Sudden boost means this one, heightened sensitivity. Okay. Then, specifically in response to unexpected warning signs, such as faces expressing fear, means indications of external threats. Yes. So this sentence is completely paraphrased and told in a very general way in this sentence. Okay. So produced a heightened sensitivity, means it takes a sudden boost in the neurological signals. Yes. So I think C should be the right option, guys. Okay. And D is activated when there is need to communicate a sense of danger. D, is he talking about any communication of the danger? No. Nowhere he mentioned about this. So D also cannot be the option. So in this way, if you go for elimination method, it will be very easy for you to get the right answer. Okay. So please follow this when you are taking the test. Okay. Next, we will Next, so this is this is not like fill in the blanks, but this is like complete the sentence. You see, complete each sentence with the correct ending. So this is the starting of the sentence, and these are the endings of the statements. So we have to match them, Right. So at times when they were relaxed, firefighters usually. So he's talking about firefighters here and when they are relaxed. So I think it should be mentioned here because we skipped few paragraphs. He spoke about firefighters in the second para only. So I think we have to read these two also to get these, right? Now let us read these two paragraphs. Now people are normally quite optimistic. They will ignore the bad news and embrace the good. This is what happened when the firefighters were relaxed. Okay, but when they were under stress, a different pattern emerged. Under these conditions, they became hyper vigilant to bad news, even when it had nothing to do with their job, such as learning that likelihood of card fraud was higher than they had thought and altered their beliefs in response. Okay. In contrast, stress didn't change how they responded to good news, such as learning that the likelihood of card fraud was lower than they thought. Okay. Okay. Now he's in this para, he's talking about when firefighters were relaxed and when they were under stress. Okay. Now let us see. What is the question? At times when they were relaxed. Now, people are normally quite optimistic. Okay, they ignore the bad news and embrace the good. This is what happened when the firefighters were relaxed. Okay, now the answer is in the first sentence itself. What is the answer, guys? They will ignore the bad news and embrace the good. Now, where is that? Now we have to look for that answer. Okay, now made them feel optimistic. No, took relatively little notice of bad news. Yes, they will ignore bad news and embrace good means they took relatively little notice of bad news. I think B looks very close to 31. Okay, so I think B should be the answer here. So I'll just write it B here. Okay, let me just change the color. Yeah, so B is the right answer here. And then we'll go to the next one. Researchers noted that when firefighters were stressed, they dash. So now he's talking about when they are stressed. You see this? But when they were under stress, a different pattern emerged. Under these conditions, they became hyper vigilant to bad news. Means hyperactive. I mean, they are looking for bad news now. Okay, they are experiencing that they are looking for those bad news. Something bad might happen. Okay, and even when it had nothing to do with their job and altered their beliefs in response. Okay, good. Let us read. When they are stressed, made them feel optimistic? No. Responded to negative and positive information in the same way? No, sir, not, no. We were feeling under stress? No, obviously, when they are stressed, they are feeling under stress only. Put them in a stressful situation? No. Behaved in a similar manner regardless of the circumstances? I don't think so. Thought it more likely that they would experience something bad. Okay. Okay, so the researchers noted that when the firefighters were stressed, they thought it more likely that they would experience something bad. Okay. So when they were under stress, Under these conditions, they become hyper vigilant to bad news. Yes, means they think something bad is going to happen and they are very actively looking for that bad news, even when it had nothing to do with their job. Yes, so this sentence is exactly matching with G. So I think this one should be G, guys. Okay, I'll just write G here. Okay, fine. So, yes. Let me just take some different colors so that it will be easy for you guys. Now, okay. Now, when the fighters were told good news, they always dash. Now he's talking about good news. Where did we read about that? In the last sentence, right? Now, in contrast, stress didn't change how they responded to good news, such as learning that the likelihood of card fraud was lower than they had thought. Okay, good, good. So, I think good news. He's talking about good news only, right? So, what is that? So, stress didn't change how they responded to good news. Okay, so it means they didn't change. That is what should be the answer. Now, made them feel optimistic? No. Then responded to negative positive in the same way? No, sir. Feeling under stress? Put them in stressful situation. Behaved in a similar manner regardless of the circumstances? Okay, yes. I think F is the right answer, guys, because see here he says, in contrast, stress didn't change how they responded to good news. So when the firefighters were told good news, they always behaved in a similar manner. Similar manner means before listening to the good news, what is their state? After listening the good news also, that is they are in the same state. Okay, there is no change. So behaved in a similar manner regardless of their circumstances. Means even if they know that their likelihood of card fraud is lower than they had thought. Yes, so F is exactly matching, sir. Okay, now we'll go with F here. Okay, right. So that is one thing. Next, the students' cortisol levels and heart rates were affected when the researchers. Now he's talking about students here. Where did we read that? I think we have to read it because in the next paragraph we have about students here, right? Okay, we'll read this one then. Okay. Back in our lab, we observed the same pattern in students who were told they had to give a surprise public speech, which would be judged by a panel, recorded, and posted online. Sure enough, their cortisol levels spiked, their heart rates went up, and they suddenly became better at processing the unrelated yet alarming information about rates of disease and violence. Okay, so that's what happened with the students. Now, the students' cortisol levels and heart rates were affected when the researchers made them feel optimistic. No. Responded to negative and positive information in the same way. No. Were feeling under stress. Put them in a stressful situation. What do you think, guys? Put them in a stressful situation. Is it right? I think yes. What is that stressful situation? This one, surprise public speech. Like they were told that they have to give a speech, and that speech will be judged by a panel. It will be recorded and posted online. So students suddenly they became stressed. They were put in a stressful situation by the researchers. Yes, so 34, I think this one is exactly matching. 34 should be E here, guys. Okay, right. And then, in both experiments, negative information was processed better when the subjects. He's talking about both the experiments. Negative information was processed better when the subjects were dashed. Okay. I think we have to read the next one as well. Now, yeah, when we experience stressful events, so he's talking about stressful events, a psychological change in is triggered that causes us to take in warnings and focus on what might go wrong. Okay, brain imaging reveals that this switch is related to sudden boost in the neural signal important for learning. Specifically in response to unexpected warning signs such as faces expressing fear. Okay. Now, yes, he's talking about stressful situations and faces expressing fear and the switch here. In both experiments, negative information was processed better when the subjects made them feel optimistic. No. B is then responded to negative and positive information in the same way. Were feeling under stress. Were feeling under stress. I think yes, because this is the see when we experience stressful events. Now, then only there is this switch in the brain. So, in both the experiments, negative information was processed better when the subjects were feeling under stress. Yes. Under stress, the negative information is processed more better. That's what the whole experiment is about, right? Yes, I think D is the right answer. Okay. So, yeah, let us. I think we are done with this section. I hope you guys are following me closely, right? So, let us move to the next section, that is yes, no, not given. Okay. Now, we have to write yes when the statement agrees with the claims of the writer. We have to write no when the statement contradicts, and not given if it is impossible to say what the writer thinks about it. Okay. Now, I think we have to read the next paragraphs as well. Okay. Now, let us read this paragraph. Such neural engineering could have helped prehistoric humans to survive. When our ancestors found themselves surrounded by hungry animals, they would have benefited from an increased ability to learn about hazards. In a safe environment, however, it would have been wasteful to be on high alert constantly. So, a neural switch that automatically increases or decreases our ability to process warnings in response to changes in our environment could have been useful. In fact, people with clinical depression and anxiety seem unable to switch away from the state in which they observe all the negative messages around them. Okay, right. So here he is talking about that safe environment and that when you are with the hungry animals surrounded by. Okay. Now, see, the tone of the content we post on social media tends to reflect the nature of the post in our feeds. Now, did he talk about social media in this paragraph? No, right? I think so. We have to keep reading further. Okay. We have to read the other paragraphs also. Now, it is also important to realize that stress travels rapidly from one person to the next. If the coworker is stressed, we are more likely to tense up and feel stressed ourselves. We don't even need to be in the same room. Okay. In the We don't even need to be in the same room with someone for their emotions to influence our behavior. Studies show that if we observe positive feeds on social media, such as images of pink sunset, we are more likely to post uplifting messages ourselves. If we observe negative posts, such as complaints about a long queue at a coffee shop, we will in turn create more negative posts. Okay, so here he spoke about social media. Now, what is the question, guys? The tone of the content we post on social media tends to reflect the nature of the posts in our feeds. Oh, yes. That's what he was talking about in this paragraph, right? So, now look at this sentence, guys. Studies show that if we observe positive feeds on social media, like the pink sunset, we are more likely to post uplifting messages. But if we observe negative posts, such as the long queue, we will in turn create more negative posts. So if we see positive feed, we will give positive postings. If we see negative feed, we will give negative postings. That's what he's saying here. The tone of the content we post on social media tends to reflect the nature of the post in our feed. Yes, sir. Exactly, yes. This sentence is exactly matching with this paragraph. So, The answer should be yes. Okay. So I'll just write it here. Okay, this is good. Done. Next, phones have greater impact on our stress levels than other electronic media devices. Okay. He did not talk about phones here, so let us read the next paragraph. Now, in some ways, many of us now live as if we are in danger, constantly ready to tackle demanding emails and text messages and respond to news alerts and comments on social media. Repeatedly checking your phone, according to a survey conducted by the American Psychological Association, is related to stress. In other words, a pre-programmed psychological reaction which evolution has equipped us with to help us avoid famished predators is now being triggered by an online post. Social media posting, according to one study, raises your pulse, makes you sweat, and enlarges your pupils more than most daily activities. Okay, so here he spoke about phone. Here it says repeatedly checking your phone is related to stress. Now, what is the question? Phones have a greater impact on our stress levels than other electronic media. Okay. In the paragraph, he spoke about mainly phones only, right? He did not talk about any other media like laptops, PCs, computers, or any other devices. He did not talk. So phones have a greater impact on the stress levels. Till here, I agree because repeatedly checking your phone is related to stress. Okay, till here it is fine, but then the other electronic media means he is comparing phones with other electronic devices, which is not given in the paragraph. Nowhere he compared phones with other electronic media, right? So what is the answer, guys? When it is impossible to say what the writer thinks, the answer should be not given. Yes, good. Now, the more we read about a stressful public event on social media, the less able we are to take the information in. Okay, okay, let us keep reading further. Now, the fact that stress increases the likelihood that we will focus more on alarming messages together with the fact that it spreads extremely rapidly can create collective fear that is not always justified. After a stressful public event such as a natural disaster or major financial crash, there is often a wave of alarming information in traditional and social media which individuals become very aware of, but that has the effect of exaggerating existing danger, and so a reliable pattern emerges. Stress is triggered, spread from one person to the next, which temporarily enhances the likelihood that people will take in negative reports, which increases stress further. Okay, as a result, trips are cancelled even if the disaster took place across the globe. Okay, stocks are sold even when holding on is the best thing to do. Okay, so he spoke about a lot of things here in the paragraph. So, what was the question, guys? The more we read about stressful public event, the less we are able to, the less able we are to take the information in. So, after a stressful public event, such as a natural disaster or a financial crash, there is often a way of alarming information in traditional social media, which individuals become very aware of, but that has the effect of exaggerating danger. So, reliable pattern emerges. Stress is triggered, spreading one person to next, which temporarily enhances the likelihood that people will take in the negative reports, which increases stress further. It means in stressful situation, we can take the information more easily. See, there is a wave of alarming information in traditional and social media, which individuals become very aware of. Yes, here is the answer, guys. Individuals become very aware of it. But here it is given the less able we are to take the information. No, sir, which is completely opposite in meaning. Okay, because in stressful public event, the individuals become very aware of the information. Here it is given less able. No, it is completely opposite. So what is the answer, guys? When something is completely opposite in meaning, answer is no. Right? Okay, next. Stress created by social media posts can lead us to take unnecessary precautions. I think yes. Why? Answer is in the last sentence. You see that? As a result, trips are cancelled even if the disaster took place across the globe. Means, suppose we are here in one country, okay, if the disaster happens in some other country, still the trips are cancelled. That's what he says. Stocks are sold even when holding on is the best thing to do. Okay. So even at the time you have to keep the stocks, but the stocks are sold here. So all these things are unnecessary precautions. Stress created by social media posts can lead us to take unnecessary precautions. Yes. Okay, so 39 is clearly yes. Because this last sentence and this sentence, they both are the same. So yes is my answer. And then the last one. Our tendency to be affected by other people's mood can be used in a positive way. Okay. Now let us read the last paragraph. The good news is that positive emotions such as hope are contagious too and are powerful in inducing people to act to find solutions. Being aware of the close relationship between people's emotional state and how they process information can help us frame our messages more effectively and become conscientious agents of change. Yes, okay. I think this is the positive way, right? So, our tendency to be affected by other people's moods means being aware of the relationship between people's emotional state and how they process the information. Okay, this is their other people's mood, having understanding of that. Now we can use, he says, can be used in a positive way. What is that positive way? Can help us frame our messages more effectively and become the conscientious agents of change. Yes, this is the positive way. I think this is also clearly matching with what is given in the paragraph. So my answer would be yes. Okay, guys. So this one, this last paragraph and this one, they are the same in a way. Okay. So yeah, I think we have reached the end of the passage. Um, so if you like my explanation, please like, share, and subscribe my channel. Please suggest your friends and family members to subscribe to my channel because it will help me to make more and more videos so that it will be helpful for you guys to crack the IELTS test. So if you want me to solve any particular passage, please mention the passage name in the comments. I'll try to solve it. So yeah, that is the end of today's video. I think we'll meet in some another video some other day. Till then, goodbye. Have a good day.